He'd gotten done with 60 sessions, he was completely potty trained, and he had a 12-word vocabulary.
Wow.
I mean, it's just, these are the miracles we get to see every day, and I'll share a little bit more with you, but I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of the statistics with people. I had the opportunity to study with Jerry Cartzenell, Dr. Jerry Cartzenell, and he's with the, the Autism Education Summit, and he also works a lot with cerebral palsy children. And I had the opportunity to study with him, and just a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. We get asked all the time on seizures. A lot of cerebral palsy kids have seizures.
Right.
We have a lot of seizures with that just come in we have one in there right now that's been having seizures for 3 years, unknown, undiagnosed. They cannot figure it out. And so we have a lot of people asking us about seizures all the time. And so I wanted to just state one of his comments about seizures. And again, we'll put his information on the website so you can go on and look on there. And he says incidences of seizure is reported in 0.1% out of 28,700 treatments and has never been reported with sessions less than a 2.0 ATA. That's ours is a 1.3 ATA for 1 hour or less, which means there has never been a report of a seizure created or caused by a hyperbaric that we use. 1.3 atmospheres ATA for an hour. And in fact, with our seizures, we actually watch these children start getting longer and longer periods of time in between seizures, which is exactly what we want to have happen, right?
Yeah.
So the less seizures and the less frequent they get and the less intense they get. And we've got, of course, Indian families that have children with seizures know exactly that seizures can be really, really aggressive, or they can be mild. And we're able to watch these aggressive seizures get more mild and more mild and more mild. And a couple of the other things that we have been talking about is the inflammation in the brain. There's so much things with inflammation in the brain, right? The neuroinflammation, and a lot of the seizures are caused from that. We need to get that inflammation down in the brain. This is the same with swelling. It's the same with anything going on. It's any brain trauma has got inflammation in there, and we need to get that trauma down in the brain. Couple other things I wanted to gosh, the time goes by so fast. It's just crazy. A couple of the other things that I wanted to just point out, I had the opportunity now a number of times to work and listen with a Dr. Feingold. She is amazing. She's a medical doctor. She's the medical director at Valley Health and Hyperbarics, and she was a regular medical doctor working in family practice, and then she had a daughter about 22 years ago that was born with cerebral palsy. And so her whole focus changed on dealing with children with cerebral palsy. And not only did I get to meet her, I got to meet her sweet daughter. So everywhere she goes, she takes her daughter. And it's been really fun for us to be able to watch her daughter progress. And yet I think she's in her 20s. And it's been really, really amazing to be able to see what she has done and the depths of what she's done, and how she's really taken on the medical community to teach them about what the hyperbaric does and how it has totally affected her daughter. And now she has hundreds, if not thousands, of clients that have come into her clinics that have got cerebral palsy. Again, she is now working just cerebral palsy. And to be able to see what's happening with them and to learn and grow from her, to be able to help our clients here with the cerebral palsy and the autism and the different brain traumas that happen in childhood as well as adulthood. But it's been really, really interesting. Some of the points that she brings out in cerebral palsy is damage to a growing brain, right? And most cerebral palsy is something that happens in uterus at childbirth or immediately following childbirth. So these poor children and parents are dealing with this from birth, right? And some of it is just one of my clients that I'm hoping will be on next week with us, or 2 weeks with us. Her child had a healthy pregnancy, and when she went to go into the birth, sorry, I don't have the notes in front of me, so I'm trying to do this from memory. The umbilical cord prolapsed, and there wasn't a doctor on staff, and therefore this child was without oxygen for 30 minutes.
Wow.
And trying to get help with his child, and oh my goodness, he has been doing so amazing. We are just adored him, and the whole family, and it's a whole family thing. There's 3 or 4 of them that come in every day, and the sister usually goes in with him. He does have a caregiver that will go in with him sometimes, but he is just an absolute delight. And to be able to see what he's doing right now, his speech is improving. He's able to sit up in his wheelchair. He's not flailing as much as he was flailing. It's just a really neat experience to be able to see what's happening with these kids. So I know I love to just get talking, don't I? But these are just some of the things that we're going to be touching on this month. So we're going to be posting things on our website and our social media. So we want to make sure everybody is watching and listening and learning. And we are educating ourselves every day. Something new, it seems like every day something new happens. But for these little people, this next month we're going to be really focusing on repairing the brain for these little people that are injured in uterus or at birth, and they have got these traumatic things that they're dealing with here. I'm getting a note saying it was a uterine rupture. Okay. That was what happened to him in uterus. So thank you for my office manager, Stormy, keeping me on track. And she's like, I wasn't going to go there today, but sometimes the Spirit just takes me in ways that I wasn't going to go because somebody needs to hear it, right?
Absolutely.
So again, like I said, we're really excited to talk about the cerebral palsy, about the autism. We're coming up on National Autism Month. We've had so many kids with autism, and it has just been the funnest thing to watch these kids wake up and just come back. And I'm able to tell the story. We've only got a few more minutes left. The first autistic kid that I ever dealt with was my own grandson. And he was 6 years old, and it was just so special. And he was on the spectrum. He wouldn't look you in the eye, and he would speak very quietly. He loved art, he loved coloring, and he would color, and he'd always color outside the lines, and he'd scribble, and he'd use dark colors, blacks and blues and browns, and almost more of a frustration coloring. And so we put him in the chamber along with his dad, who had severe concussions from all those football days and crazy childhood stuff, right? He played football in college too, so he took some pretty good knockers to the brain. He changed too. One of the things, really quickly, and I'll go back on this, one of the things that we notice with concussions, people tell us all the time how the personalities change. A lot of times with severe concussions, people can get angry and frustrated, and this is what we see happen all the time. And when you get oxygen back into that brain and light back into that brain and things start flowing the way they're supposed to, the personality comes back. And this is what happened in my son-in-law and my grandson. And he would sit in the chamber with a walkie-talkie, and he would say, "Grandma, I just feel better in here." He'd say, "Grandma, look, I color better in here." And we did some tests on him, coloring outside the chamber and then coloring again inside the chamber, and he did. He was staying in the lines, and he was shadowing, and he's just like, "Grandma, I just like it in here. I don't want to get out." This is a 6-year-old, right? To the point where he's noticing this. And I didn't encourage it. He just picked up the walkie and would start talking to me. Well, I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Amen.
So that's just one of them. And then the other thing that we have just brought into our center is our wheelchair accessible hyperbaric chamber. It is so cool. We have some clients, not very many. It's been kind of funny because most of them like to come in and lay down in the beds, but we have the wheelchair accessible if somebody's not able to get out of their wheelchair and they need to just be rolled into a wheelchair accessible hyperbaric. We have that now at Vibrant U. So we can literally just roll the wheelchair in, close up the chamber, and let them stay in their chair and get the wonderful hyperbarics and light that they get.
Great to see. Absolutely. I mean, it's so fun, and the thing that's got me since I got to know you and learned a little bit more about hyperbaric oxygen is is the progression of things it can help with, that I'm learning about. I know it's
Yeah.
probably always been there, but I'm learning this. And then the people, I've met several of the people, and I think that the thing you said just a moment ago with the young man, your grandson, recognizing it, that's their life does change, because suddenly things that were not even happening are now starting to be a part of their life, and you bet they realize it. So it's been
Yeah.
incredible.
It was fun with him because we didn't tell his teachers on purpose.
Surprise! No.
We wanted to see what they noticed.
Yeah.
And he was probably about 20 sessions into it, and his teacher called my daughter in and said, "What's going on with
What'd
your
you do?
son?"
Huh? Yeah.
Because he's communicating with the other kids, he's looking me in the eyes, he's speaking up, we can hear him. And look at his work. Even the way he wrote his name, the little things he was doing, his day-to-day work was night and day improved.
Wow.
And we did that on purpose. We wanted to
Yeah.
see if she noticed, and she did.
Apparently she did. Well, we're getting right down to the end once again. Stephanie Parrish, founder and CEO of Vibrant U Hyperbaric Oxygen and Light Center, joining us here today. And as has been asked for, give them all the details of where, what, and when, about how they can get more information.
Absolutely. Again, remember, heal the brain. We're talking cancer, strokes, concussions, anything like that. Come on in to see us. And our website is vibrantuutah.com. Our office here in St. George's at 352 East Riverside Drive, Suite A6. And that number is 435-218-7260. Please call ahead so that we can make sure that we can get you in for a consultation. And as well as, remember, we have our wheelchair accessible, and we have got other locations in Murray, Utah, as well as in Riverton, Utah, and they're picking up and doing great, and we're excited to help people up north as well.
Absolutely. You said you got some new hours. You guys are early
We've got
birds
new
down there.
hours,
Yeah.
so we are open at 6 a.m. and we've been there till about 10 o'clock every night, just making sure we can get everybody in that would like to have the experience.
It is great. So, folks, if you want to know more, please get a hold of them, and then join us every other Monday here on KDXU Radio as we bring you more good information. Again, some special guests joining us on the next show as well. And once again, this has been the Vibrant U Show, Vibrant U Hyperbaric Oxygen and Light Center, with founder and CEO Stephanie Parrish joining us. Always enjoy it. Look forward to our next meeting.
Thanks, Mike. So do I. I love being here with you.
All right, thank you. And that's going to wind it up for today's show here on News Radio 94.9, 890 KDXU.